So this is a recent post on the CanadaGuns subreddit from a user called Newt Diego titled, "Stop calling everything a liberal conspiracy. It makes us look insane and pushes people away from the community." He goes on to write, "I know this is probably going to get downvoted, but IDGAF anymore. And I bet some of you folks as well, am getting real tired of people here constantly dooming on about how insert somewhat gun-related topic is a liberal conspiracy or anti-gun conspiracy. Yes, the current government is hostile to the idea of Canadians owning firearms. That doesn't mean that everything related to guns in the news or whatever is being put there explicitly as liberal anti-gun propaganda. The absolute saturation of these types of posts and comments is turning this sub into an echo chamber that increasingly is sounding more fringe and more insane." Okay, so that's good. We're starting out with some ad homs there with something that probably most people aren't even going to agree with in the first place. Newt Diego continues, "Right now, we should be trying to promote firearms and firearm ownership to anyone who will listen, yet people here consistently are alienating almost half the damn country. This is no way to promote firearm ownership and reasonable firearm laws. People coming on this sub to learn about how to get their pals only to be met with hundreds of doomer-ass comments about how so-and-so is a liberal conspiracy are going to rethink their decision on getting a license and joining our community." Again, I don't think that's the case with the CanadaGuns subreddit. You can probably find some comments that you would find politically disagreeable if you really go searching for them, but doomer-ass comments? I mean, I don't think you would make that type of remark to somebody who was reflecting on the housing market or the cost of living. Regardless, he continues, "I've literally seen this happen within my social circle in real life. Two of my friends who I took shooting and expressed interest in getting their pals searched up this sub, saw some of the shit here, and now one of them canceled her course because she thinks y'all brains are missing half the fasteners with the rest being loose." And for the sake of good faith discussion, we're just going to slip some more ad hom in there. And the last paragraph is just some accusatory mudslinging BS about CGN and why the community should personally appease his friends rather than being what it is. And they conclude, "TLDR, not everything is a lib conspiracy. Be friendlier to your fellow Canadian instead of making them an enemy, so we can evolve our public image to attract more potential firearm owners, which will help us keep this sport alive." Which I do agree with their TLDR. We do need to do our best to protect this community, but at the same time, I think we need to stop lying to ourselves about who it is we're trying to appease. I'm not saying go out there and be a pig and talk to people disrespectfully, but let's just cut the BS. We're never going to be seen as a community that's acceptable to left-wing oriented liberal party voter types. It's just never going to happen. I personally have invited people out to the range and spent hundreds of dollars on ammunition for people that ultimately reflected on the sport still to be something that is for people who are right-wing conspiracy theorists. I've been down the path that Newt Diego here is attempting to travel. Ultimately, people will revert to their base instincts when it comes to their questions and their feelings on firearm ownership. You're fighting a losing battle, and trying to force people that are inclined to see what you view as a hobby as something that is pig-headed and arrogant to participate in, you're never going to change their views on that. Something more fundamental has to happen in their life for them to understand that a firearm is a tool and a basic part of life. And this is not to say don't introduce people to the sport, don't try to bring people in, don't try to foster an interest in firearms ownership and sport shooting. I'm just saying be honest about who you're attempting that with. In this case, we see somebody who set themselves up for failure with somebody who was not going to be open-minded in the very first place, or they're lying. There's no two ways about this. I'm going to pause for a moment here and say I've pretty much said my piece for this video in terms of what any sensible gun owner should have to take from this. But if you're terminally online, like a lot of the people on this Reddit are, including our OP Newt Diego, and you want to hear me get a little bit mean, you can carry on past this point, and we can be honest about what the actual person behind this post is like. Originally, I was going to make some commentary for these screenshots, but I think it's better for the viewer to make up their own mind as to whether or not we should be listening to somebody critiquing our community who uses their free time to participate in communities and discussions like these.